So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. Guys, Ryan Garcia is going to fight Javier Fortuna. A lot of people are going to be disappointed by this news. And this is the problem with boxing right now, that, you know, a lot of these young guys, they're not fighting one another. We heard that Ryan Garcia was going to fight Manny Pacquiao. And everyone got excited that, oh, Ryan Garcia is going to fight Manny Pacquiao. Then that got shot down in the sense that, you know, they were saying that, oh, it was just, you know, a publicity stunt. It was clout chasing. And nothing really came to it. You know, I'm just telling you what the fans are saying. I don't know what was the reason. It looked like it almost said it was close. You know, that the Ryan Garcia Pacquiao fight was close. It just needed a signature, but then it fell through. I don't think the people around Ryan Garcia wanted that fight for him. You know, his own Eddie Reynoso, who's his trainer, Oscar De La Hoya, they completely said that, you know, listen, the fight's not possible. I think Ryan Garcia benefited from that. You know, from a promotional sense, it definitely is. Oh, he's fighting Manny Pacquiao. So, yeah, that fell through. That it didn't look like that came to fruition. Then we heard that he may be fighting Gervonta Davis. Well, actually, no. He was talked about Gervonta Davis first, before the Pacquiao situation, that, you know, after he knocked out Luke Campbell, that, you know, the next fight is going to be Gervonta Davis. And everyone got excited because it's like, yes, these young guys are going to fight one another. But we got very excited to no avail. And the fight didn't come to fruition. Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis never came to fruition. Then Ryan Garcia, he's moving on from Gervonta because he's got a bigger fight, and that's when the Pacquiao talk started. And when you're talking about Manny Pacquiao and you're talking about Gervonta Davis, and then eventually you announce that you're going to fight Javier Fortuna, fans are going to be upset. Fans are going to be disappointed because of what you were saying, or who you were saying you were going to fight. So fans are going to be disappointed, even though Javier Fortuna is a good fighter. You know, he's a very good fighter, and it's not an easy fight, but still, you know, people were talking about Linares, and it makes you question how confident Ryan Garcia's handlers are putting him in there with the top guns in the division. Because Ryan Garcia was mandatory challenger to Devin Haney. And Devin Haney's gone out on Twitter and said, but he's basically saying Ryan's ducking. Basically saying, you fought for an eliminator and now you're going to fight for another eliminator when you could have just fought me for the title. So what Devin Haney's saying does make sense. And listen, I like Ryan Garcia. I actually think he has a chance to beat Devin Haney. But I think we're going to... listen, we haven't got any of these kids to fight one another yet. They're all in the division. They're all at the top level. But they've not one fight's come through yet. Boxing's not what it used to be. You know, when they talk about the four kings of the past, yeah, they used to fight each other in their prime. They didn't duck and dodge, and, you know, they didn't do any of that. They fought each other. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get all of these fights. You know, and nowadays they marinate these fights for so long. And then when the fight should be made, they don't get made. They try to marinate, and then one might take a loss, and then the fight just completely goes. Then one says, no, I'm the A side, you're the B side, I get the bigger split. And then the fights never happen. And that's the issue in boxing, that this was the perfect time to make Ryan Garcia Devin Haney, which would have been a huge fight in the lightweight division. Would have been a statement for both guys. The guy that would have won would be the next big thing. But it's unfortunately now everybody's trying to see, Ryan Garcia is a big star. He's got a huge following. He's got a huge social media platform. And De La Hoya and the Golden Boy are trying to build Ryan Garcia into a huge pay-per-view superstar. Or he's fighting on his own, but a huge superstar, right? That's going to deliver them Huge money. Even though I think Virgil Ortiz is a special fighter, but he's not as commercially, he's not as big as Ryan Garcia. So I don't know whether Oscar De La Hoya believes that Ryan's ready yet. And he's holding him back. Otherwise, it doesn't make no sense for them not to fight Devin Haney for the world title. So they're probably thinking he needs a couple more learning fights like a Javier Fortuna, and then maybe a fight with Devin Haney. See, for me, in my opinion, if he's going to jump into a fight like Devin Haney, which is risky, then he might as well jump into a fight with Gervonta Davis, because although Devin Haney doesn't have the pop that Davis has, Davis is going to be by far the bigger payday. You know, Garcia against Davis is a bigger fight than Garcia v Haney. So I can understand why if they're going to take a risk like that, they'll rather fight Gervonta. And Gervonta is a lot smaller in the sense, although he's, for me, a bigger puncher than Haney, he's very explosive. I actually think that Haney's less dangerous, but Haney's a bigger lightweight and Haney's skillful. You know, he has got skills. For me, Gervonta Davis gets hit a lot more. And, you know, Ryan Garcia does have speed and power. So that could definitely be interesting. And it's a big fight. So it's disappointing because I want to see these guys start fighting each other. So we've got Ryan Garcia, we've got Lomachenko, we've got Teofimo, Devin Haney, you know, Lomachenko. You know, these guys all need to start fighting one another. You know, we heard about Devin Haney and Lomachenko and nothing came to fruition with that. The problem is the big problem, you know what the big problem is? They're all with different broadcasters. And that's why I'm frustrated that Haney Garcia didn't happen. Because they're both with DAZN. So that's an easy fight to make. Whereas like guys like Loma, guys like Lopez, those are with Top Rank. So it's a lot harder to make. Because the broadcasters wouldn't want to let Teofimo go and fight in DAZN. And likewise, DAZN wouldn't want Ryan Garcia to fight on ESPN. Because those guys do numbers for them. So those fights are a lot harder to make. Whereas this fight should be easy to be made. Easy. And Gervonta Davis, again, is with another network. I believe he's with, is he with Showtime or Fox? I don't know. I think he was with Showtime his last fight. But again, he's with another broadcaster. So again, that'll be hard to make. So it didn't make sense to me where the fact that Devin Haney fought for a eliminator and then he didn't fight Ryan Garcia. I mean, sorry, he didn't fight Devin Haney. It's just confusing to me. And that's the problem with these. That's the problem with a lot of these young guns, that they're building up their records. But I think Ryan Garcia is ready now. He fought Luke Campbell. He was ready for a Haney. Listen, he got dropped. I get it. But Haney's not a big puncher. See, it's a calculated risk. Haney's a good boxer, but Ryan Garcia could easily beat Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia is fast and explosive. And Haney hasn't got that kind of power. You see, Davis, for me, is not as skillful as a Haney. But Davis is a lot smaller and he gets hit a lot. And Ryan Garcia definitely has the power to hurt Gervonta Davis. But Gervonta Davis did show a good chin against Leos. However, Leo's a lot smaller guy. Ryan Garcia is huge compared to Davis. So that's a very interesting matchup. But the Haney-Garcia fight will be an interesting matchup. But I think Haney, because Haney hasn't got the profile, he wants that fight with Garcia because he knows that could take him to the next level. Garcia, on the other hand, although Haney's the world champion, Garcia looks at it like, I don't need this guy. I'm the bigger name. I'm the bigger star. And if I lose to him, you know, that affects my stock. That affects my star appeal. So it's kind of like risk and reward. He doesn't believe the reward merits the risk. You know, the risk outweighs the reward fighting Devin Haney, although Haney's a world champion. And Ryan Garcia's never been a world champion. So I feel like when you've never been a world champion, the thing is with Ryan Garcia, he knows he's going to get the opportunities whenever he wants it though. So that's the advantage Ryan Garcia has, that he's not like a fighter where he has to take the opportunity because Golden Boy, and the fact that he's such a big star and has got such a big viewing audience, he will get the opportunities. He will get the opportunities when he wants them. So he doesn't need to be rushed. But again, from a fan's point of view, I wanted to see that fight because I think it would be the first fight out of all the young guns fighting one another. Put Loma in the mix. But again, a lot of these guys are not fighting one another. They're fighting other guys. They're fighting other guys that are below them in rankings and stuff, but they're not fighting one another. And you think to yourself that, when are you going to start fighting one another? It doesn't, you see, it's like, this was the perfect time to make Haney Garcia because he was mandatory for Haney's title. And coming off a win against Campbell, yeah, he got put down, but who cares? People get put down all the time. He was ready for that world title shot against Devin Haney. Devin Haney's not even a huge puncher. So I'm confused a little why, you know, he's not fighting. He's not fighting Haney, because I think the fight makes sense. I think it's a big fight. I think fans will tune in. But I think it's just another example of what, you know, how boxing's become. We now very rarely get the fights we want. Yeah, we do get fights made that we want, but very rarely, like this lightweight division, the super fight. See, Gervonta Davis v like Ryan Garcia is a super fight. Would Ryan Garcia Haney be I think it would be a super fight to the hardcore. Yeah, I think it would be a massive fight. But it's kind of like these young guns in their prime. You see that nowadays they try to pad up their records, try to get them, you know, commercially make them bigger stars. And usually by the time they fight, they're all past their best. Now, these guys are very young, so you'd like to think that they don't marinate things to the stage where they're, you know, they're not fought in 10 years. But I just want to see them fighting each other because the lightweight division's on fire. And the fact that we've not had any of these guys mix it with one another yet is surprising because they're all at that level now. Like, Teofimo's at that level. He's already undisputed champion. Then you got Haney, who's a WBC champion. You got Ryan Garcia fighting eliminators and winning them. You got Gervonta Davis, who's going through the weights. They're talking about him fighting at 140 against Barrios. So, I don't know. Why didn't Gervonta Davis look to fight Devin Haney? Why is he going up to 140 to fight Barrios? See, all of these questions have got to be answered, you know, because the fans we want to see those fights. And it's frustrating that we don't get to see these fights when there's no reason for them not to be happening. What reason is there for Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia not to happen? Because when you hear them speak about Ryan, they believe he's ready for Haney. So then Haney wants that fight, clearly, because Haney knows that a win for him does a lot of good for his profile, because he hasn't got nowhere near the profile that Ryan's got. So he's looking to get that status, you know. So he's looking for that fight, whereas Ryan Garcia and his team look like they don't really need it right now. You know, maybe they're looking to give him a couple learning fights before they think about a serious fight or big fight, super fight. But yeah, leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think. I do think that Ryan Garcia, if he's going to fight one of them guys, it's going to be Davis, because I think that fight, the risk and reward ratio makes sense. It's going to be the biggest payday, right? And Gervonta is a smaller man. Yeah, he might punch harder, and I think he could definitely hurt Ryan Garcia and take him out. But I actually think that Ryan Garcia could probably hurt Gervonta, because Gervonta is a smaller guy. So, and Ryan Garcia is very fast and explosive, so that could be quite exciting to watch. And I don't think either guy is defensively that great. I think Gervonta is not defensively that great, and I don't think Ryan Garcia is. So I think someone's going to get put away in that fight. Someone's going to get knocked out. But leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below about this situation. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.